Okay, what is up, everyone? It says that we're live, so I will do an exercise in trust and take its word for it. Welcome back to another family education and support group that's geared a little bit towards your personal development today. So let's do the quick introduction of myself, what this channel is, and what you can expect or hope to expect from your participation and your presence in this live stream. So my name is Param. I am your weekly host. We're back for another season because basketball season is over, and I look forward to being with you each and every single Saturday for about 45 minutes to hopefully add a little bit of value to your day, to your week, and ultimately to your life. And so I do have a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. I am a licensed advanced alcohol and drug counselor. I'm not just bragging about it. That's what the name of the license is. I am in recovery also myself. So June 13th, 2008 is the day that I pivoted and was able to transform my life and live a life free from the chaos and the pain that comes with active addiction and the challenges of mental health. And good morning to those who are popping up to say good morning. We got Jess from the East Coast. We got Jim from the West Coast. And we got Cataline, which is from the West Coast, but from another part of the world originally. And, you know, when you pop up, this is interactive, so you can feel free to ask any questions that you may have, pose anything that you guys have over here. And we definitely could benefit from our active participation. Got mom and dad in the house. So it's always good to see them. And, you know, this group, what it's for, it's pretty much for any human being who firsthand or secondhand has experienced any type of pain as a result of addictions, mental illness, trauma, grief, and loss. So pretty much it's all of us, right? I haven't met anybody that's been excluded from that in this journey of life. And when we go through pain, it changes us. Now, that change could be for the better or the worse, depending on how you perceive the lessons that pain brings. And if you believe that they're on the other side of the pain, there are gifts available to you in the form of transformation. So every talk I ever do is dedicated to the possibility of human transformation. I believe that all human beings, including this one sitting in front of you right now, talking in his living room to a webcam, is also capable of transformation. I hope that this version of me is not all that there ever will be. I believe that there are other versions of myself available and accessible in the future to myself that I can grab a hold of and to take on and see what happens. So the way it works is I kind of like have a topic every week. I talk about, you know, the different things. I put it up on the banner so you kind of know what we're talking about. And we just have a little discussion. So, today I'm a little excited. So after this, obviously, I'm going to go play my pickleball. We all know that. But then March 25th, I start my first community college class at Saddleback Community College. It's called HS 177. It's a 3-unit college transferable class called Family Dynamics and Dysfunctional Families. And I have to make this thing called a Canvas classroom something today. And it's for the students to be able to log on and see like the discussion questions and the homework assignments and the quizzes and the tests. I have to make it from scratch. I've never done one before in my life. So I will be doing a lot of trial and error and figuring it out and watching YouTube videos and not recreating the wheel. So everybody that's popping up right now, the Marilyns, the Mandys, everybody, welcome. And we'll just get right into it. So today I want to talk about personal development. Your life will not get better until you get better. So that is a very direct statement, but it's a statement that we all must hear because most people are kind of hoping and wanting for their life to improve and get better, right? That's like a thing. Everybody wants their life to get better, but they think that in order for their life to get better, somebody else has to get better. Like if only my son got better, then I would be okay. If only my spouse got better, then I would be okay. But we all know that that's not the truth, because the only way your life is going to get better is if you get better. And when there is no glaring addiction problem in your life, for example, we think that the addiction of somebody else or the recovery of someone else is going to be the catalyst to your growth and your change and your transformation. Not the case. Somebody else's changes in life outside of a momentary relief of the fearful feelings that you experience, once that's gone, it's gone. So I want to start talking about these questions that I've come up with. There's 6 of them. I wrote more in the description, but I narrowed it down a little bit. So the first one is, am I taking care of today? Am I taking care of today? Oh, man. Today is the most transformative day of your life. I wish I could tell you that it's tomorrow or it's next week or it's next month or it's next year. But if I did so, I would be lying to you and also allowing you to continue to believe that the magic sauce that exists in your transformation exists anywhere outside this present moment on this day. One today is worth 1,000 tomorrows. But you know what people think? People think that one tomorrow is worth 1,000 todays. And that's so unfortunate, because there is nothing in life that you can accomplish that gets accomplished tomorrow. And here's the reason why. When that tomorrow comes, it will be another today. There is no such thing as tomorrow. All it is a present moment that has not arrived yet. And by the way, it only arrives if we're lucky. Who even knows if that tomorrow ever comes? Today is the day that we must transform our lives. And most people sleep on that. Most people forget about that. I mean, think about it this way. As adults watching this, some of you are very responsible. Some of you are not very responsible. Some of you go in and out of responsibility. I'm sure you have a to-do list, correct? Nothing wrong with that. We all got a to-do list. How many of those things on your to-do list have been there longer than a few days? 1 of them, 5 of them, 10 of them? Here's a fair question. When are you going to get to them? Let me guess. Tomorrow? Well, today's Saturday, so there's no way. Today's my rest day. And then tomorrow's Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Ooh, can't get to my to-do list tomorrow because it's a really important day. All right. So maybe you're going to get to it on Monday. How many Mondays have you said that? 1, 2, 10, 52 of them, 104 of them, 206 of them. I don't know. Listen, man, am I taking care of today? Bottom line. And some people do, and some people don't. Some people believe that today is a valuable and important day in their life, and some people think that today is not as important as tomorrow. Keep living that way and let me know how it goes. But I promise you this, the day you realize that when you start taking care of today and the responsibilities in which today has for you is the day that your tomorrow will start to become more beautiful, more powerful, more open to experiencing opportunities and growth. Some people do it, some people don't. I know for a fact that my today is the most important day of my life. People say, what do you mean? It's just a random Saturday in February. Today doesn't understand what day of the week it is. Today doesn't understand what month of the calendar it is. Today doesn't even understand what year it is. Today is all that exists. Take care of it. Whenever you realize that you're not taking care of today, just know that you're not taking care of your life because it's all you got. And because all of them, yeah, I know. Start taking care of today. And you know, it's in certain people's lives, for example, my cousin right here, you know, beautiful family. Now they got a child involved, and it's like, your life becomes very full, and it becomes all about that little thing, that little child, that little human. And a lot of parents, and I'm not saying my cousin here, but a lot of parents start to just invest in their kid and invest in their kid and invest in their kid. And one day they realize, shit, man, I ain't invested in myself. And Jim says, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's a gift. That's why they call it the present. It really is, and I don't even think tomorrow's a mystery, by the way, Jim. I'm going to say something a little bit not controversial, and I know this is just like a nice quote and a play on words, but tomorrow sometimes doesn't have to be a mystery, because if I take care of today, even though I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, I have a little bit more influence on the quality of that tomorrow, right? Like today has the ability to actually transform our tomorrows. So it's a powerful thing, and that's why it's a gift. Dorothy from sunny Florida. Hey, we got sunny California today. The past couple of weeks over here, it felt like we were in a gloomy Oregon. I honestly felt like I was living in Oregon for the past few weeks. I was starting to experience a little bit of that depression they talk about up in the Pacific Northwest, when the clouds are present every day and it rains every day. It could be that, or because it took me out of my pickleball routine. I don't know. We're still up to debate. But yeah, always good to have you, Dorothy. So the next question that I want you to ask yourself is, am I investing in myself? What a concept. Am I investing in myself? What do you mean? I mean, how can one invest in oneself? I mean, we can invest in other people, or we can invest in our job, or we can invest in this thing called the market, the stock market, which we think we have control over. No, man. Do you invest in your most precious commodity, which is yourself? So in order to teach you what that means, I want to teach you something about this thing called the relationship bank. We have relationships with anything that is not us. But guess what? You also have a relationship with yourself. Okay. And in that relationship with yourself, there is this bank account present. It's called the relationship bank. And it's an account that you have with yourself. And just like any other account, there are two options. One, you invest and deposit. Number two is you take or withdraw. Now, in this analogy or this metaphor that I'm using with yourself, each and every single day, we have a choice. We take from this bank account. We take from this bank account to do the things we have to do in life. But my question is, do you invest in yourself? Do you invest in this relationship bank? Do you put deposits in the relationship bank? Because if you don't, here's a dilemma. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, or you don't have to be very good at math to understand what potentially may happen and what will happen. If I take and take and take from an account and not deposit back what it was that I took, what will happen? You will one day have an account that is severely declining in assets to the point that it gets to zero. And from zero, if you think that's as far as it goes, you're lying to yourself, because it starts to go into the red and go into the negative. And when that account is in the negative, the relationship with yourself is in the negative, you start to experience things like frustration, agitation, annoyance, anxiety, depression, lack of motivation, lack of enthusiasm, lack of vitality. And you think there's something wrong with the world. But guess what? The only reason that you feel those things is because you stopped depositing in yourself and in your life and in your future. There are so many good things. Oh man, we got a lot of people in the house right now. We got Lynn. What's up, Lynn? Always good to see you. And we got Ellen from Connecticut. Long time. These are all long timers, man. I've known these people for a long time now. And yeah, Cataline, that is a good relationship. That is a good analogy, the relationship bank. So, if anybody just popped in right now, We actually got a good amount of people here right now. If anybody just popped in, my question is, am I investing in myself? And the way I taught that real quick, and I'll do it very quickly, is this. All human beings, including myself, we have this thing called a relationship bank. And that happens with ourselves. Just like any other account, there are two components: withdrawals and deposits. Life has us withdrawing from this account all the time. It is our responsibility to deposit back into this account by investing in ourselves. If you do so, you will always have a healthy and thriving bank account that you look at, you're proud of, and also allows you to get the things done you need to get done. But if you don't, you will experience the pain of being broke in this account. And if you're broke, you are unable to do the things you want to do and develop the way you want to develop. So please, my friends, start investing in yourself. How do you invest in yourself? Invest in your mind. Invest in your mind. Sharpen that mind. Keep that mind open to new experiences, possibilities, opportunities. Learn. Learning is not just for children in grade school and junior high and high school and for young adults in college. You know, college typically ends around, let's call it the 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s. That's typical average bell-shaped curve of when formal education ends. Well, guess what? Your education actually starts when formal education ends. How can someone tell me that the education they need in life ends at the time in their life that it barely begins? Have you talked to a 22-year-old, 25-year-old kid? They know nothing about life. But that's when a lot of us stop learning, because that's when we were supposed to learn. So if you're not learning something right now, then what are you doing? What are you investing? So that's the mind and that's learning. But guess what? You must invest in your body. You must invest in your body. You must invest in the vehicle that takes you from point A to point B. The same way you do your maintenance on your car and you do your oil change and you rotate your tires and you take it into the shop and you do X, Y, and Z and make sure it's operating well so you can get from point A to point B for life. What about your body? Do you invest in your body? And then do you invest in your spirit? The thing that holds all this together. Our body is nothing but a physical thing. Our mind is just a part of us that creates a sense of self, this identity. But what about the spirit, the X factor that connects it all together? The thing that makes you feel certain feelings that you can't explain. Do you invest in that spirit? Or is your spirit just broken because of not taking care of your mind and your body? So you must invest in yourself, my friends. The next one that we have here is, am I investing my time with the right people? Well, I kind of like this question, but there's a part of it that I just want to clarify. By saying, am I investing my time with the right people, it infers that there are the wrong people out there. I don't believe there are wrong people. I don't believe there's bad people. I just believe that some people are not right for us right now. Maybe they will be one day. For example, I just did this talk with our program participants this morning. And I had this question up there: am I investing my time with the right people? Which infers that there's the wrong people. I'm not telling you that certain people within the home or the recovery space in their world are wrong or bad. They're definitely not bad. But if someone comes in and they're focused on transforming their life and they want to do better, live better, become healthier and heal and live a life that's different from their past, and there's someone else in the community that's just not there yet. Maybe they're there by force, but they have no intention or desire to change their life. Maybe they have a mom and dad that just really wants them there and they don't want to be there and they're doing it to appease them. They're just not ready. That doesn't make them a bad person or the wrong person. It just makes them the wrong person right now, because their values and their goals and their direction is different. So you, just like our program participants, are the same way. There might be people in your life that aren't bad, but they're not just right for you right now. So invest your time with the right people. And investing your time, by the way, means you're investing your most important and valuable commodity. Time is the most valuable thing human beings have. Yes, it's more valuable than money. Yes, it's more valuable than anything else on this rock we call planet Earth. I mean, I've met some very high socioeconomic status people, and guess what? All the money they got can't buy them more time. Take 2 duffel bags of cash into South Coast Plaza, into the nicest boutiques in America, and walk in there and say, "Hey, I'm here to get some time." They might try to sell you a $40,000 Rolex, but ain't going to give you more time. It's just going to show you what time it is that day. Time cannot be bought. Time can't even be invested. You can't put your time in a safe account somewhere in Switzerland and 10 years down the line have double the time. It ain't work that way. And time is very fair and equal because all human beings have only 24 hours within this thing we call a day, no matter who you are. So how you use that time and how you invest that time and what type of a budget you set for that time. Yes, there is something called a time budget. How do you budget your seconds, your minutes, your hours, your days? Are you wild with it? Are you reckless with it? Are you impulsive with it? Or do you use it wisely? Do you plan and prepare to maximize and optimize and have the most efficient use of your time to get you to where it is you're trying to get in life? Invest your time with the right people. Most people's successes and failures can be traced back to the relationships in their lives. Most people. I've said this countless times in the past 15 years, and I'll continue to say it again. I would not be here if it wasn't for the sacrifice and the not giving upness of other people that didn't give up on me when I gave up on myself. I trace my success to that. Simple as that. You are the same way. There are people in your life that have been influential, inspirational, monumental in specific moments. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. You might think you would. This version of you wouldn't be here. So invest your time with the right people. See what we got here. We got some comments. Alan, what's up, man, from Oklahoma? You said anytime you're on these talks is a good thing, so I hope it's a good thing. And you're always welcome here from Oklahoma, my man. Always good to see you. Always good to hear from you. And keep coming back. I invest a lot of my time with people that need help getting to where they need to be. Doesn't always work with getting out of me where the problem is. You know what? I actually have one of these ones, Jim's coming up. I think you're really going to like it. Because one of the questions that we need to ask ourselves kind of ties into what you just said right there. And by the way, that's an investment worthwhile. That's an investment worthwhile. So the next one that I have is, am I staying in my strength zone? Lots of people waste countless years of their lives trying to be someone they're not and doing things that they're not good at. We all have strengths. I hope that you've sat down to identify what your strengths are. I hope that you know what your strength zones are. And I hope and pray that you live within those strengths, because the most authentic, the most powerful, the most transformative version of you is when you're in your strengths. I don't know when and where society taught us to just identify your weaknesses and do what you have to do to strengthen them. Here's the thing. We're all good at something. Not everyone's going to be good at the same stuff, and that's okay. There's no need. I've used this analogy before, and it's really important, and I want you to just internalize it a little bit more. The education system, And by the way, now I'm a college professor. So when I talk about the education system, I feel like I'm a part of a broader thing. But the education system, let's just go with grade school, I believe is flawed. Controversial statement. I mean, a lot of people know that, but here's why. Let's just say little Sally or little Johnny is horrible at math, right? I'm talking about just for whatever reason, whether it's dyslexia, whether it's just inability to understand numbers, whether it's the lack of focus and attention span, maybe there's some stuff going on at home. They just have a hard time with math. And they keep failing and getting zeros and twos, no matter how hard little Johnny or Sally's trying. The school identifies this weakness in that person, and they say, come on over here. We're going to do everything we can to strengthen your mathematical skills. We want you to become better at math because it's so important and crucial and vital in your life and in success. And little Johnny and Sally starts getting tutors and individual education plans and learning plans and put in little special classes to learn more math. And no matter what they do, they can't do that well. And guess what? Maybe they're a 0 or a 2 out of 10. And after all this practice, they become a 4 or a 5 out of 10. Well, guess what? They improved, but now they're 5 out of 10 is failing pretty much. So now they're just below average in math. Oh yeah, society really rewards below average, don't they? Hey, are you below average in something? Oh yeah, come over here. We want you. But guess what? Little Johnny or Sally might be extraordinary at writing or literature or poetry. Little Johnny and Sally might be extraordinary at music or art. They might be a 9 out of 10, just naturally. If they put all that time, energy, effort, and stayed in their strength zone, they can become a 10 out of 10. They can become extraordinary at it. And guess what? Society rewards extraordinary. Society rewards extraordinary, and little Johnny and Sally be celebrated for just who they are and living in their strength. My friends, stay in your strength zones. There's no need to focus on your weaknesses. There's no need. Somebody else out there is good at what you're not good at. Couple with them, use them to get, Henry Ford, right? This really famous tycoon of a businessman. You know what he said? He said, I do not know all the answers in life. I don't know how to solve specific things. I don't know how to do specific things. But guess what? I know someone who does. And I have access to people that do. And as long as they know how to do it, it's good enough for me. He doesn't try to go learn all that stuff. He just does what he does. Stay in your strength zones. Ask yourself, am I staying in my strength zones? Look at this. Love listening to your talks. Thank you. I love hearing myself talk too, apparently. You always make sense. And I appreciate that. I won't be too cocky about it. I appreciate that because communication is pointless if what the individual is saying is not received and grasped in a way that the audience or the listener can actually retain it. So if I was speaking and it wasn't making sense to you, then I would need to reevaluate and reassess the way that I speak, because communication needs to be from point A to point B, but point B needs to be able to retain what point A was trying to say. So thank you for the kind words. And I know you've been listening to me for a long time, Dorothy, and I'm glad that it's still making sense. And hopefully you could see that I'm also trying to stay in my strength zone and improve on the skills that I've had all this time. So the next one that we have here is, so here we go, Jim, this is for you, brother. Am I taking others to a higher level? So when Jim earlier had that comment and he said, well, the way I invest my time is with people that need help getting to where they need to be. This is pretty much what you were saying, my friend. So for everybody else am I taking others to a higher level? Because if your only outcome or desired outcome of personal development was to take yourself to a higher level, that's okay. But have you ever heard the phrase that it's really lonely on the top? It's because if you get somewhere by yourself and you look around and no one's there, does where you got actually have any significant value? Momentarily, it might feel good. It's like, look at this. Look where I am. But then you look around and no one's there. And then does it really mean anything? When you take another human being to a higher level, what happens is you got to climb, right? You got to go up. And as we go up each level, the person looks around and they're like, wow, I didn't know it could be like this. I didn't know it could feel like this. I didn't know what was possible up here. And if you're going up with them, guess whose view is also changing? You. Your view changes. Your perspective changes. Your experience changes as a result of taking someone else up. You gain the benefits. And that's the powerful part of taking others to a higher level. And the best part of it is if you've been up to a certain point and you're helping someone else get up there, they don't know what exists up there, but you do. And that's where the belief in other human beings, like I believe that all human beings can get to where I've gotten in specific areas in life. They must climb. And if they don't want to climb, I'm going to show them the way I did it and say, hey, I'll stand behind you and let's go up and see where it takes you. This morning I was, again, talking to the program participants and I told them, I strongly suggest now that the weather's so beautiful, at least here in Orange County, I know it's not like that everywhere else. And it's not a humble brag about Orange County. Like I said earlier, the past month for the most part has been Oregon 2.0. So I'm just happy the sun's back out. But I told them, I said, hey, some of you don't care for football or the Super Bowl. You're not going to watch it. So my suggestion is get 4 or 5 of you and go on a hike, like this place called Crystal Cove. And, their objection is like, I don't want to go, just walking is boring. And what's the point? And this and that. See, if you look at the hike isolated by itself, for those people who don't like walking or don't like physical activity, it could seem boring, but it's because they're focused on the wrong thing. I told them when you go on a hike, if you focus on the dirt trail that you're walking on and the lack of enthusiasm or potential fun that exists in that walk, then you're focusing on the wrong thing. Because here's the beauty of the hike. The beauty of the hike is in the journey, and it's in the slightly subtle increases in elevation. Because with the smallest increases in elevation, when you look back, your perspective changes slightly. The higher the elevation goes, the higher your perspective is going to change. And I told them, if you just one time, don't listen to your head and go on this hike and get to the top of Crystal Cove, hour walk, hour and a half, you get to the top. Even though it was a subtle and gradual change in elevation, when you get to the top, it will be dramatic and extreme. And you turn around and you look down from where you came from, and everything in life will change. All the problems that you have right now that seem so astronomical inside your mind, the higher you go, the smaller they become, and you gain this thing called perspective. And in that change of the size of your problems, you find yourself and realize that you can deal with them. See, when you're on top looking at the Pacific Ocean or looking at the trail or looking at the beauty of nature, that moment is the magic of the hike. That experience is why people do it. That experience is why people go on top of mountains, man. If you ever wonder why people go climb mountains, for God's sake, yeah, it's a personal challenge. It's something difficult. It's something tough. But it's because they know that the higher they go, the greater the possibility of the change of their mindset, of their attitude. So take others to a higher level. Let's see what we got here. Sorry, I've been rambling, not even looking at my questions. Whoa, bought me a house, rented 2 rooms to ladies that needed a spot. I earn money for watch TV in the gym and sleep until I feel like getting up, still sober and loving life. Happy to hear that, bro. I'm happy to hear that. I didn't know all that. So that's That's good stuff. Cool, man. Appreciate it, bro. Sorry that you can't walk well, but I'm happy that you have those other positive things going on in your life, man. I really mean it. Um, appreciate you, dude. So the very last one that I have here is the question, my friends, am I doing what I love and loving what I do? Ooh. You could tell that I am doing what I love and I love what I do. How do you know that? You look at how somebody shows up and you look at one key factor is their passion. Passion creates and addiction consumes. Do you have passion in the things you do in your life? Because if you don't, I want you to strongly consider what it is you're doing. You all know I'm a therapist also, so I've done a lot of therapy with people. I really don't do much of it anymore. I have some private clients I see out of, I just see. But outside of that, I really don't do much therapy. But I used to do a lot of counseling, a lot of therapy. And I've worked with countless people that were miserable in their jobs. Some even hated their jobs. Some people would just count down worse than a child that counts down for the weekend. You know, like in school, the kids are watching the clock every day and it's like 2:45 and it's like, oh my God, we're going to get out of school. And especially when Friday comes around, they're so happy that it's Friday because guess what? They get Saturday and Sunday without school. The child is so excited. The sad part is some adults never grow out of that. Some adults go to work on Monday miserable, agony, pain, and all they do is count down till Friday so they can go back and just relax and just chill. You call that living? Barely existing, barely. And guess why they do it? When I would ask them, why do you do something you hate? You don't understand. You don't have life responsibilities. You don't have bills. If I don't do it, who's going to provide food on the table? As if that job they have is the only vehicle to provide food on the table. Man, why do we tolerate and just accept circumstances in which we are miserable in? Fear, lack of belief in self, lack of faith, lack of trust that something out there within my strengths and my passion is going to be able to make me a paycheck. Make your paycheck, make your passion your paycheck. Love what you do what you love. You never got to work a day in your life. Why go through this thing miserable? I don't get it. I mean, I do get it. You got to do it to pay the mortgage and the bills, but make sure you do it in a way that you at least get some type of satisfaction and joy. I strongly believe that if you go to work every day and you're miserable, then quit your damn job. And if you're not ready to pull the trigger, then when you get home from that job you hate, spend every single minute of your free time looking for other opportunities and avenues of work that excite you. Fill your resume out. Go on some job interviews. At least do the exercise of some hope out there so you're not in this prison of a box that you go and you call work. The reason why I do so many things that I love is because why not? Number one. Number two is because I know if I don't, my soul will die day by day. Feed it. And if you don't know, oh, let me see. We got some comments. Yeah, see, there's an example right there of Jim. He helped somebody, get right. Jim loves his job. Love what I do. What a gift. Never thought it could be like this. Passionate. Absolutely. Yes, you are. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad that you love the job with me. The best ever. That's nice to hear. So the last one, if you're not going to love what you do what you love, that kind of stuff that I'm telling you, Am I doing what I love? If not now, when? I can't force anybody. And even when I was doing therapy with people and they said they hated their job, it's not like I was like, go quit your job right now. I would just say, well, why don't you quit? And they give me all the reasons. Stay miserable. But if not now, when? Let me guess. For those of you who subscribe to that tomorrow magic, I guess it's tomorrow. And if that's the case, I already shared my thoughts and feelings about it. But if you can tell that today's talk was very powerful, at least because I believe that these questions are vital and necessary for all human beings to ask themselves in their path of personal development. If you want your life to get better, you got to get better. And once you get better, your life will get better. Has nothing to do with your loved ones, my friends. I know a lot of you are watching this or got turned on to this channel because of somebody else. I know, I get it. But it's time to realize that they were a gift in your life that helped you get to this moment. They are the reason why you're even considering looking at your own life, considering it, looking at how you live your life. If it wasn't for their addiction or their mental illness, you would have just kept going. Just go with the flow. And you had this moment in your life is the catalyst to your change. And can be really scary to change. Yeah, he said it might be worth it. And he's just being he's being a wise clinician, because if he says it's worth it and someone changes and they're saying it wasn't worth it, you told me it would be. Now I'm not even going to say it might be worth it. It will be worth it. Hold me accountable to it. It's okay. Get mad at me for motivating you to change. Oh man, I love doing this, and I'm glad we're back. I'm glad we're back on these Saturdays, and I look forward to seeing what 2024 has in store for us in these talks. And if you go back and watch the old videos from like 4 years ago, I look so different and I sound so different. And you know what the cool thing about that is? Even back then, people will say, you speak so well and this and that, but I watched the way I speak back there and I watch the way I speak now, and I'm telling you, it's changed. So that means that all the stuff I'm telling you, I'm doing in my own life. And that's my commitment. I'll continue to do it. Love and appreciate all of you. I will see you back same time, same place next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye, everyone.